All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to crack open a fantastic sci-fi novel, not just for the story, but for a powerful, real-world toolkit that's hidden inside. We're talking about Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, and believe me, the lessons in this book can completely change how you tackle problems that feel, well, impossible.
You know that feeling, right? You're staring down a project, a crisis, something so massive, it's just paralyzing. You don't even know what the first step is. Well, what if I told you the answer is to start thinking like a scientist on a last-ditch mission to save the entire world?
So here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on the impossible mission at the heart of the book. Then, we'll pull out some amazing lessons from the crew. After that, we'll turn those lessons into a solid, scientific method for problem solving, and even give you a 7-day action plan to make it a habit. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the single biggest takeaway.
Okay, first things first, we gotta understand the mission. And honestly, this is the ultimate case study in crisis management because the stakes, they're just the survival of every single person on Earth. No pressure.
So get this, the sun is dimming, Earth is headed for an ice age, and fast. Humanity's only hope is a lone astronaut, Ryland Grace, who wakes up millions of miles from home with, you guessed it, total amnesia. His job is to figure out what's killing our sun, and somehow stop it. The message here is so powerful, it's that scientific thinking, this relentless, curious, collaborative process, can overcome just about anything.
Now, this story isn't just about one guy. It's really about a whole team of brilliant and, kind of flawed people. So let's meet the crew whose mindsets really form the backbone of this problem-solving framework.
First up is our main character, Grace. And here's the kicker. Before he was an astronaut, he was a middle school science teacher. And that right there is his superpower. Every single time he faces a new, life-threatening problem, he doesn't panic. He just breaks it down with 2 simple questions. Okay, what do I know for sure? And what's the smallest, easiest thing I can test right now? It turns chaos into a checklist.
And then you've got Rocky. He's an alien engineer from a totally different solar system, and his star is dying too. Think about this. They can't speak the same language, they don't share the same biology, their basic science is different. But it's their collaboration, their ability to work together on a shared problem that leads to the breakthrough. It just goes to show you, the best solutions almost always come from combining wildly different points of view.
And we can't forget Dr. Strat back on Earth. She's the one running the entire Hail Mary project. And let me tell you, she is ruthless. She's pragmatic, she makes these incredibly tough, often unpopular decisions, all for the sake of the mission. She's a perfect example of what true leadership looks like when the stakes are sky high. You have to stay absolutely laser-focused on the goal, no matter the personal cost. So how do we take all these amazing lessons from these characters and turn them into something we can actually use? Well, let's get into the good stuff, the 5 key insights that make up this toolkit. Here they are, the 5 pillars. First, break down complexity. Second, embrace collaboration. Third, always stay curious. Fourth, use data, not fear. And finally, number 5, focus on the mission. Each one of these builds on the others to create this really solid framework. And this visualizes the whole process in action. It's a loop. You start with a problem, you observe and form a guess, a hypothesis, then you run an experiment. And the key part is right here. The results of that test feed right back into the beginning, helping you adapt and try again. It's this constant cycle of calm, logical action. Okay, insight number 1, straight from Grace the science teacher. When you're facing a monster of a project, don't even try to solve it all at once. The action step is so simple. Just grab a piece of paper. On one side, write down what I know. On the other side, what I can test. That's it. It immediately takes the panic out and gives you a clear path forward. Next up, the Rocky principle. Your best ideas are probably going to come from someone you'd never think to ask. You know, an engineer sees a problem differently than a designer, who sees it differently than someone in sales. So the action here is to be intentional about it. The next time you're stuck, go find someone in a totally different department, buy them a coffee, and just ask, hey, what do you think of this? Insight number 3 is all about your mindset. Grace is literally on the verge of death like every other chapter, but he never stops being fascinated by the science. His curiosity is what keeps him from giving up. So for you, when you feel that stress building, the action is to just pause for a second, take a breath, and ask yourself a different question. Okay, what can I learn from this situation? This one is so important. Fear makes us make terrible, reactive decisions. In the book,
every single critical choice is made after they gather the data and run the numbers. So, your action? Before you make your next big decision, just take 30 minutes. Make a simple pros and cons list, but here's the rule. You have to back up every point with some kind of data or fact, not just a gut feeling. And our final insight comes from Dr. Strat.
Look, achieving huge goals almost always requires some kind of sacrifice. It means putting the mission ahead of your own comfort. So your action is to think about your biggest goal right now and then ask yourself, what is one comfort zone I absolutely need to step out of this month to actually make progress? All right, so we've got the theory. Now how do we make this stuff stick? Let's turn these insights into actual habits with a simple 7-day action plan you can start tomorrow.
See, this isn't just an idea, it's a skill you can build. This plan gives you a small, manageable focus each day. On day 1, you spend just 15 minutes breaking down a problem. Day 2, you practice a data-driven decision. By day 4, you're practicing curiosity when you feel stressed. By the end of 1 week, you'll have put all 5 principles into practice, literally building that problem-solving muscle.
So, we've traveled across the galaxy and back. After all of that, what's the one big idea we really need to bring home? It really all boils down to this. The book teaches us to treat our biggest challenges, whether it's a work project or a personal goal, like a scientist would. You assess the situation, you form a hypothesis or a best guess, you test it out on a small scale, and then you adapt based on what you learned. That simple loop, assess, hypothesize, test, adapt, is the secret to turning impossible into possible.
And we'll end with this quote from the book. You know, on the surface, it's about aliens, but it's also a great reminder to look outside our own little bubble for answers. The most amazing solutions often come from the most unexpected places and people. So stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, you're never truly solving problems alone. So my question to you is, what impossible problem are you going to tackle first?